went good. They all made it back safe and sound, so they were good. They had they used the day off to rest because they came back and practiced really hard today. So it was a real good morning session, and then they came back and we just finished up a real good afternoon session, finishing with 2 minute drills. So those guys were sharp today.
Is there any position that's really standing out so far in this?
No, I mean they're all playing at a pretty high level right now, but there's not one where you can say there's certain guys that are playing really well, but it's not like there's a whole group that's just above and beyond because everybody's playing pretty good right now. So.
Who are those guys?
That are playing pretty good. You want me to start? Dion Jordan, Kiko Alonso, T. Mitchell, John Boyette, Taylor Hart, Isaac Remington, Hronis Grasu, Kenyon Barner, DeAnthony Thomas, Marcus Mariota, Brian Bennett, Josh Huff, to name a few.
You said Mariota first. Is that mean you?
Yes. I was ready to see that. I actually thought of that when I said it.
Last year you were really impressed early on by DeAnthony and Carson, both with their ability on the field and their abilities in the offense. How are you feeling about Byron Moses so far this year?
Good. And actually Trey was hurt in camp. He knew what he was doing, but you didn't get a ton to see him because he was banged up a little in camp. But Byron's practiced full every single day and he's a smart kid and has really picked up a lot. And it's not one of those where Coach Cam's trying to get him lined up or, when he's in there, you're trying to yell at him what to do. He's picked things up really well, so that's been impressive from that standpoint.
Is it a dynamic you hope to be in terms of the runner?
Yeah, and we haven't done any live tackling, so we're going to do some of that tomorrow, so we'll get a chance to see that. But he's got a burst, he's got some vision. He understands what our play schemes are, where the ball's supposed to go, so he's got a pretty good feel for what we're doing.
If you had to describe DeAnthony Thomas in one word.
Explosive. You want to ask another question, but you only said one word, so
that's all
you were stuck with that.
It's very specific.
Explosive, yeah.
Thanks. Joey Harrington and Phil Knight are going to be inducted into the Oregon Hall of Fame. Any idea what took them so long to get Phil Knight into the Oregon Hall of Fame?
I have no idea. I don't even know what that process is all about. I got nothing to do with it. I'm really good at when I have nothing to do with something. I won't even comment. I have no idea what took him so long.
You guys got officials tomorrow?
We'll have officials in here. We'll be on the grass. We're just going to practice. We'll do some 7-on-7, some 11-on-11, some situations.
You get a sense of kind of team discipline, and you expect to see a lot of flags, anything like that?
No, I don't. We've had, first competition day we had 2 illegal procedure penalties. Besides that, we've been pretty clean. Our guys, we don't. I think it's one of those things. You're either coaching it or you're allowing it to happen, and we don't allow it to happen. We certainly don't coach it. So, if there have been situations, whether it's been in drill work or things like that, our coaches have cleaned it up. So when we get to team situations, we've been pretty clean so far. So.
How are Bennett and
They're both doing a really good job. They both got a real good grasp of what we're trying to do offensively. They both got a good understanding of, what their strengths are and how to kind of play to them, and really managing the game pretty well. So I've been pleased with both those guys so far, being a weekend.
I could be wrong about this, but it seemed like Taylor Hart and Tony Washington are 2 guys who've kind of switched a little bit on the defensive line. Taylor from defensive tackle to defensive end. Am I wrong? What roles do they have then? I guess what roles?
Taylor Hart's a defensive end for us. Tony Washington's a defensive end.
Has Taylor always been a defensive end, or was he a defensive tackle earlier?
He's been a defensive end in our scheme for 2 years. Yeah.
What traits do you want to see out of him that make him a good defensive end in your scheme?
What makes Taylor, I think, there's probably not a kid in our team that plays with more energy and passion on every play. He's got an unbelievable motor. I think he goes a little bit. He does his job so well sometimes that I think sometimes he goes unrecognized. But when you watch, if there's an interior defensive player that's chasing plays down, then it's usually Taylor's leading the bunch, and just plays. He's an unassuming kid, doesn't talk a whole heck of a lot, but been very, very, very productive, very strong right at the point of attack, and can pursue the football. So.
Well, with Tony, are you looking at him at the hybrid kind of Dion Jordan defensive end spot, or the old Terrell Turner?
Do you always have to mention Terrell? Is that because he worked for you guys? You got to see if you can get him in. Do you get royalties when you mention his name? Does he pay you?
I wish.
I wish.
I think that wouldn't be a violation.
Tony's playing both defensive end spots for us right now. So right now we're just trying to figure out who our top 8 guys on defense are going to be, and then when we start to get closer to game time, they'll start to sort out exactly kind of game plan wise where people are going to fit. Same thing with Dion. Dion's bouncing around. That's one of the tough things for us offensively right now is trying to figure out where he is, because they got him playing so many different spots that you just can't clue in on him. So all of our defensive guys are rotating and really playing a couple different spots right now, which I think it's to their benefit because of their versatility. But where we start to finalize and settle on where they're going to end up really just depends on kind of how the rotation fills itself out when we get closer to game time. So.
How about Isaac and Jarrett, two guys who came here as JC guys?
Yeah, well, Isaac was one of our real productive kids last year. Jarrett was fortunate enough to redshirt for us, so I thought both those guys are playing real well right now. Obviously, I think Isaac, where he left off last year, I felt real good about, Isaac, Taylor, Ricky, Wade, those kids coming back, and then right now Jared's making a push to get into that rotation and put himself in the mix. So.
Thanks, Chip.